Hello everyone, I'm Yogesh, and today in this episode I'm not going to talk about anything about the charges or the forces or anything related to the electrostatic charges, but actually you are going to help me out to find out the questions that are ringing into my mind something like bells, and I just wanted to know a few things about. If you remember in our last episodes, what we discussed was if there are two charges at rest. So if it is a positive charge and the second one is a negative charge, or if it is positive, then there is something called a Coulomb's force that could be attractive or that could be repulsive. Then we were discussed about the electric flux, electric field, and also the Gauss laws. But I'm not getting one thing, that if I have got two charges at rest, and if one of the charge is having some force over the other, that is if there are, say, suppose two positive charges and one charge is pushing the other positive charge with certain force, then what will happen to the other charge? Will it remain static, or there would be something that is changed in the coordinate of that charge, or the charge will start moving, or the force will disappear? Actually, these are some of the questions that are kept ringing in my mind, and today in this episode we shall be trying hard to find out the answers of these questions, which look quite beautiful yet very curious. Well, if I have got two charges and if one of the charge is repelling the other one, as if both of them have the same magnitude, say suppose both of them are positive. So what is happening is that due to this charge is getting repelled, so it will move. That means whatever we studied in the electrostatic arena, that is charges at rest, we must modify a bit in order to understand what will be the nature of the charge that just got repelled due to this charge. And in order to do that, we must take help from our mechanics part. That is, you must be knowing that if a body is moving, it is having a form of energy which is known as the kinetic energy, and it also has some energy that is a potential energy. There is always a transformation from the kinetic energy to the potential energy, or even to the potential energy to the kinetic one. But can we apply the same laws of physics that we used in the classical domain, that is we used in the mechanics, to here in the charges? Well, I would say yes. And how we should proceed, that is by the following example. Suppose if me and my friend have arranged a very big spring, it is quite large and it is really very good. So if my friend is standing say suppose 10 meters away from me, and we both are holding that spring like this, and if I challenge my friend that okay, if you have got the power, then you must come at least 50 centimeters from your exact position at this time, that is, he will come at the midpoint of it. Now my friend has to compress that spring in order to come at that particular position that I demanded. In that case, he has to compress that spring, and for the compression he has to undergo some reluctance from the spring, and that he can do by having much more force, or by imparting much more force on that particular spring. So after some time, after applying a lot of force, he comes at the desired point. Now if I am quite mischievous enough, I will simply say okay, I am going to leave the spring. He will simply say no. Do you know why? Yeah, perhaps you're right, because the moment either I leave the spring or he leaves the spring will try to cancel out the compression and it will expand vigorously. And if I can place some object there then I will simply see that that spring, after my friend leave it as it is, will go on with that mass, and it will accelerate the mass with a much greater velocity, or in other terms, with the velocity and the mass there will be a momentum, and with the momentum there will be a much greater force. Well, then from where this force come? How could we be so wrong after seeing what is quite obvious to us? Because at the beginning the spring was at rest. I simply compressed it. Actually, what happened at that time was that the potential energy got stored in the spring by the resistance that I gave it to him. And once I leave the spring will go for the transformation, that is, the potential energy will get converted into the kinetic one, and that is why it will accelerate any mass if we attach that mass to the other end. Well, this is the same case with the charges. Suppose I have got a very big charge, say plus q, and I have got a very tiny, a very innocent charge, say small q, and if that charge is having the dream to come closer to this charge, he will simply ask me that please kindly help me out to go near to him. I will simply say okay, and then I will start applying some force so that I could counter the repulsion due to this bigger charge plus q that is being imparted over this smaller charge small q, and at certain distance I will come and I will stop here. Actually, I moved this charge from this point to this point, that is, I have applied some force in order to move the charge from this point to this one, and in that process, when the charge is at the desired point, all my force that I applied got stored there in the charge in the form of a potential energy, and this is known as the electrostatic potential energy that is stored in a charge. So now what we have seen is that if I bring a positive charge, it is a smaller positive charge, in the vicinity of a bigger charge, I have to apply certain force, and in that case what will happen is that some of the force, actually all the force that I am applying, will be simply stored as the potential energy at that point. So electrostatic potential energy is the energy that is stored when I bring a positive charge into the vicinity of other positive charge by countering the repulsive force. But see, sometimes in order to have a good measurement, I will say, oh no, I don't have this, I want a quite easy measurement. That's why whenever you have a scale, you will always see that the scale will start from 0, and then if you want to make a line or if you want to do a measurement, you will simply start from that particular 0. So that was a question in my mind, that if there is something like where the potential is 0, then we could easily make a measurement. So by then we said okay, we don't know where the potential is 0, so we can have something like infinity. That is, if I move a charge from infinity to my desired point, I will have some potential energy stored. So if I am moving, say suppose a charge from point P to a point Q, so the difference in the potential of that point P and point Q will be stored in that charge which is now residing at point P. And one more thing, actually what happens is that whenever I am moving a charge from some distance, say infinity, or now in this case for my relaxation I have considered as point P, what I will do is I will take the difference of the charge. A lot of people think that the difference in the charge is not required at all, but we must always take the absolute value of the potential. That is, I must have the potential from the point P and I must have the potential from the point Q. this is not quite comfortable to have, because if the bigger the charge is, the bigger will be its vicinity, and then the variation of the potential at every point will be different. So we simply take that for the electrostatic potential at a point P, I will say that I have moved a charge from infinity to the point P, and the difference in the electrostatic potential in the form of energy is the thing that I am interested in, because I only know what part of energy is stored there. So I will only take that difference into consideration. One more thing, actually what is all this electrostatic potential energy I am talking about? Means in the initial statement I simply said that I am moving a charge from a point P to a point Q, or say from infinity to a point P. What exactly it is? Actually it is the work that I am doing over it, because I am having some sort of repulsion. In order to counter that repulsion, if I am applying the exact force equal to that repulsion, I can bring the charge near to the desired point. And also I am traveling some distance, say suppose from point P to point Q, the distance is say 5 centimeters, and the force is say suppose 10 with a standard unit. Just remember that 10 with a standard unit. So my work done will be force times the distance. So actually this is nothing but the potential energy is the work done by me or by some external agency of interest who is trying to move the charge from a point say P to a point Q. Now in this way what we have defined is that simple thing is that whatever the force that I am applying over a certain range or over a certain distance is getting stored in form of a potential energy. In the other way around, if I go for the mechanics things, is that the kinetic energy that is coming into action will get stored in the form of potential energy of that point. So this is the work done that I am doing to counter the electrostatic repulsion due to the bigger charge. So what we have discussed so far today? We have discussed a very qualitative aspect of what is exactly the relationship between the mechanics that we studied and the electrostatics that we have also studied. Actually we only try to make a transformation from the mechanics of particles to the mechanics of say the charges. We also came to know that whenever two charges are there, there must be some force acting over one or the other charge, and so due to that force a charge will move. But wait a minute, now since the charge is moving, there must be some kinetic energy, and if I want to bring that charge nearer to the positive charge who is repelling it, I must do some work. So where is that work gone? We also know that this work that I am really worried about gets stored in the form of potential energy, and so the potential energy we defined it in terms of the work done in moving a charge from a point say infinity to the point of my interest say P. So W from infinity to P is nothing but the electrostatic potential stored in the form of work done against the repulsion that was created by the positive charge of my interest. In the next episode, we shall be discussing that if this is the electrostatic potential energy, then what will be the potential due to the positive charge? And do you remember the dipole case that we discussed in electrostatics? Yeah, that same one. We shall also be discussing what will happen to a dipole if we consider the potential due to it. Till then, goodbye.